I have this one doubt which I've not been able to understand completely or been able to explain it to people who've asked me the same doubt. When we talk about the concept of Shiv Shakti, most Sanatanis visualize Shivji married to Parvati Ma. And then they have two children, Ganpati and Skand.
Correct.
This whole question is going to lead itself to Skand.
Okay.
But first, I'd like to know about Shiv Shakti a little bit. I think most Sanatanis at this point know the story of Sati
Right.
and then Parvati Ma.
Right.
That is shown to us in television shows, etc.
Yes.
Now, before the birth of Ganpati, when they were just living as husband and wife, Shiv and Parvati, can I look at Kali Ma being equivalent of the Parvati that was married to Shivji before Ganpati was created? Or how am I supposed to look at Kali Ma with respect to Shiv Shakti? Is she even related?
Okay.
Or is it a whole other deity?
So very good question actually. Shiva and Shakti are the primordial beings of the universe. The way, and I will explain this not just from whatever is the texts and all, but more from the way I look at it. So it's easier to explain to me. What is my reality? How do I equate with them? So Shiva and Shakti fundamentally are the everything in the universe is either Shiva or Shakti, or sometimes a mix of both also. Right? And the easiest way to understand this is there is one ultimate reality, call it Brahman, whatever else. So that reality has two segments or two divisions. One division is static. Okay, static means it does not move, it is in absolute knowledge. Okay, it sees everything, the all-seeing eye sort of, and is attached to nothing. Okay, it is in deep wisdom and knowledge, but it is non-attached to anything else. Let us say that this specific aspect of the Brahman, we call it as Shiva. And then there is the other aspect, which is the executive power, the ability to do things. Okay, not just wisdom. Along with that, there is karma, there's kriya, there's activity, there is something, there's a force, there's an agency to cause events to happen, creation to come into existence. That creative force, that executive power is Shakti. Together, these two have formed, it's one being in two different poises. Poises means two ways of looking at the same, two different activities, attributes it's doing. So if there was only the static aspect of the Brahman, if only Shiva was there, then there would be no need for a creation. In fact, that is what the stories tell us in the Puranas. For a long time, there was no creation at all because he was in deep samadhi. And then there was asuras and they were troubling and things like that. And the God said that only a son born from Shiva or a child born from him can defeat this negative thing. So basically, Shiva is in samadhi. He is not interested in the world anyway. He is beyond the world. He is completely transcendental. But there is a part of Shiva, his own projection, for example, which is his creative power, his Shakti, which creates the world, which has made the world from the highest gods to the most insentient, the most, say, the stone on the road. That is also a product of the Shakti. The human being is a product of Shakti. Everything is a product of Shakti. And this Shakti is a projection of Shiva. So this is the two ultimate polarities of the universe. We, you, me, everybody, we are in a world of Shakti. Completely, everything is Shakti. Okay. However, there are all types of Shaktis. There is Vidya Shakti, there is Avidya Shakti, there is positive Shakti, there is negative Shakti. Asuras are Shaktis, whereas gods are Shaktis. Good qualities are Shaktis, bad qualities are also Shaktis. So we have to we have to discriminate between all this. What is it we want, what is it we don't want, which helps us. Accordingly, we do spiritual practices that helps us to choose the things that will help us to grow further. Because if somebody pursues the avidya shaktis, they will fall down and eventually be completely destroyed and in more painful conditions, larger periods of time. So these are the two main fundamental aspects of reality. Shakti has created the whole world, and this Shakti we call as Parvati at the initial stages when she is married to Shiva. Okay, where the Shakti is very pliant to Shiva. It's like a very faithful wife, okay, who's looking after all that is needed for the husband and things like that. So that is a Shakti which is more demure in nature and highly dedicated to the very static transcendental Lord Shiva. That Kali is also Shakti, but slightly different. She is a very dynamic outpouring from Parvati. Let's put it this way. There's one Shakti. Sometimes she's Parvati, sometimes she's Kali. Sometimes from Kali she becomes all the 10 Mahavidyas. She can be various things. As Kali, her story is different. So she is a out and out goddess for destruction of negatives and asuras. And not just negatives in the world outside, sometimes negatives within us. Okay. So that aspect of Kali is so fierce and so powerful that when she comes into a battle, she's almost unstoppable even by the gods.
To summarize what you said, and please correct me where you think I've understood it wrong. When we talk about reality of the universe around us, it can be understood as being of two parts. There is pure stillness,
right,
which can be understood to be Shiva.
Hmm.
And then there's the other side, which is all the energy, all the power of the universe, which can be understood to be Shakti.
Correct.
And together, as Shiva and Parvati or Shiv Shakti, they constitute the universe. That is what the fabric of reality is made of.
Right, right.
Now, simply that Shakti, because it's raw energy, it can mold itself into many different kinds of energy.
Correct. Absolutely.
And those different kinds of energy are what we call the different types of Shaktis, or all the divine feminine aspects of energy that we worship in Sanatan Dharma.
Correct.
Now, out of all these versions of Shakti, there are certain ones that we worship as a goddess. So it can be understood from this whole paragraph that Shakti or Parvati Ma can take up different roles in the universe for different purposes.
Right.
And one of those highly ferocious roles is the role of Kali.
Correct.
And then eventually she goes back to being Parvati.
No. So the play of the gods, we call it Leela. Okay, Leela is a play. Play of the gods is that so Ma Kali is herself like an independent deity. Okay. So not just her, all the Dasa Mahavidyas are independent deities, independent forms of Shakti. And once they come into existence, they will remain there. They will always be there, interacting with upasakas or doing some things in the world of creation, etc. But my point is all this, anybody who has movement, Shakti is movement and nothing else. When you move, there is always a change. So basic idea is there's a change of pressure, there's a change of force that happens, right? There's a momentum. Right now, think about it this way. We are sitting in this room, right? This room is placed on planet Earth. Earth is moving around the sun. The Earth and sun are moving around something else. Okay, that something is moving around another greater circle. So there is constant movement going on, layers and layers, interlayers of movement. This whole movement is Shakti. And the point, and this is a very interesting thing, all Shakti revolves around a point of stillness relative to itself. It's very important to understand that. So Shiva is like the earth, for example, is moving around the sun. So sun is, for let's approximately saying, not scientifically saying, so approximately let's say that the sun is the center of the solar system, right? So sun becomes relatively like Shiva. And the grahas are different forms of Shaktis moving around. Earth is one Shakti. The moon is one Shakti, like that. Okay. So wherever there's movement, there is also a point of stillness relative to that movement. Now, this whole arrangement of the sun and the solar system is also moving around some other center. That center is the Shiva of this whole movement. So Shiva is that stillness is not a point. It is a depth of stillness. What degree of stillness? If you take a man into a position where absolute stillness, we don't have stillness inside us. Why? That's because there's sound. You are sitting here, there's some ambient noise, something like that. Your senses give you an idea of the approximate location of other things. There's some vibration that you are catching, right? If you were to cut off everything, absolutely still, it can cause a lot of disorientation in the mind. That is stillness, because your mind is not able to fathom what is there. In absolute stillness, a person can go absolutely mad also, unless the adhara, the mind and the body has the capacity to take it. That is where sadhana is to be done. So yes, Parvati ji, Ma Parvati is the devoted Shakti of Shiva, whereas in the form of Kali and others, she has different functions in the universe. She is also the Upasya Devata of Tantra. In sadhana, in Tantra sadhana, or even without Tantra sadhana also, she is a Ishta Devi of many people across India, especially Eastern India and also other parts of India.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.